Hey everyone, Wayne Fox here with another video in my Preserving Memory series about scanning. I've done several videos on this really pretty nice Epson FastFoto scanner. Really useful if you've got just lots and lots of snapshots to scan. It's good for other things too. It's actually a pretty good document scanner since it can scan both sides at the same time, and you can scan directly to PDFs or directly to Dropbox. And I've got another video plan on using it for that. So it's pretty useful, but if all you're gonna do is scan snapshots, the disadvantage is it's a little pricey. $650 is a little expensive, and it saves you a lot of time. And so you could obviously buy a much more affordable flatbed scanner and get maybe even slightly better quality. Although in the last video, I showed how even a 300 DPI 3x5 scan on this produces a quite acceptable 8x10. If you want to check out that video where I compare different scanning resolutions and talk about what settings to use, I'll just link it right up there in the corner or down in the description below. Anyway, it also handles delicate documents better than most. I have a few comments on how they've seen them scratches, and there's a little plastic sheet that you get with the scanner that will protect those, and you can buy more of those from Epson. I'll have a video about that, a short video, because it's actually pretty easy. So even if you've got a glossy 8x10, you can put it in that and protect it. So it's really quite versatile, but $650, it's pretty expensive. I've had a couple of comments about this plustek ePhoto scanner. I wasn't familiar with this. For all I know, this has been around forever. I don't know if it's new or not. Based on the software, which looks very antiquated even for somebody coming from the Windows side, it's maybe been around a long time. The weakness of the scanner is the software. I'm going to tell you up front that I don't think it's worth buying unless what you're scanning doesn't need any color correction. It's pretty good at getting you a color accurate scan of your original, but if you've got faded originals, the restoration part's really weak. It's not automated, and it'll actually take you more time than a flatbed scanner. So that being said, let's set it up and I'll show you how it works, and then you can kind of make the decision for yourself. It is only $200 and it's semi-automatic. You can feed in about a picture. It takes 2 seconds per scan versus 1 second per scan here. Now this is truly 1 second per scan. I can take a stack of 25 photographs and put them in, start the scan button. I can be getting my next stack ready, and by the time it's done with those, I can drop those in, hit the go button. So literally, I can get really close to 1 per second efficiency. Even, if I've got 400 or 500 prints, I'm not losing much time in preparation. As we'll see with the other scanner, it's a little more cumbersome and still works pretty good though. So let me just show you how it works. Okay, I've got the scanner set up here. I'm not going to go through the whole unboxing thing. Pretty straightforward, USB cable, power supply, scanner. You do get something that's pretty important to protect. You get what's called a calibration page, so let's talk about that. I've got the software loaded up. First of all, this is on a Mac, and yet it looks like a Windows program. Like I said, it could be this was done a long time ago. Another thing, it's not even on Windows anymore. I can move this window around, but you notice I can't make it any bigger. So I can have only one of two sizes. I can either have it the default size, or I can have it take over the whole screen. But I can't, make it a little bigger and work with multiple, like the Finder at the same time. Really no excuse for that in modern software. I just don't understand that. Let's real quick look at the preferences. You can do that by either going to the preferences under the ePhoto menu, or you can click the question mark and you'll also have a preferences menu. The start application, when I start my Mac, I assume what that does, it allows you to access the scanner pretty much whenever you want just by dropping a picture in. I haven't tested this, but I assume what this does is if you drop an image in, it'll scan it and save it directly to a default, say such a hot folder or something like that. That's what it sounds like it does. And you can of course set the path to that folder to be anything you want. It looks like it defaults to the documents folder on your Mac, and I assume similar on Windows. It'll check for new versions of the software if you want, and you can set how often it does that. I don't know, based on the look of this software, I'm wondering if it's even been updated for a long time. I need to research that more. One thing I do like is it allows me to set the quality of my JPEG compression. If you watched the last video, I talked about how a JPEG at 70 is about 1/10 the size of a JPEG at 100. And I believe I put it behind me, the FastFoto scanner looks like it's using around 70 for the compression based on the file sizes. I really have no control of that, and it's nice that they do give you the control. The thing it has is, as with most scanners, you can have a profile, and it installs a default profile. When you install the software, you can select other profiles if you want, or you could create your own profile, I assume, if you know how to do that. So may be helpful for some more advanced scanning, especially if you're really just trying to get raw scans that don't have any color correction or anything on them, because that's kind of where the software falls apart. Under the little gear, we also have some settings that we can change, and these are typically something you might change per scanning session. We can tell it whether to scan in black and white or color or auto, and usually auto works fine. We can set the resolution, 600 or 300, so it's the same as the FastFoto scanner. Here you can do a file name, and this will increment, and this is, I guess, kind of a prefix for your file. It defaults with kind of the current date, and I'm not sure what the 1633 is, but you can type in your own name, for example, vacation 2020, which in my case will be 0 pictures because with this weird year, I have not gone on a vacation. OCR language, I don't know much about the OCR part and how good that works. It can scan documents, but it can only scan one side at a time. This is detects whether it's a photograph or a document. You can force it to be one or the other if you want. Auto crop and deskew, I would assume you want to leave that on. Apply quick fix. I tried this with and without quick fix. Is supposedly kind of an automated version to make it look better. I scanned 10 shots with and 10 shots without, and there was virtually no difference between any of them, and several of them needed a fix. So even though this is here, I don't think it does any good. Not sure. I guess if I scan lots of them, I might see a change, but obviously if it's not affecting hardly any, it's kind of useless, which goes to the whole point of the software being weak in color restoration and in fixing problems. For the first time you try to do something, it's going to ask you to calibrate it. Once it's calibrated, it won't ask you. If you ever see the light parts or the whites especially looking kind of gray or muddy or some weirdness, you can calibrate it at any time. If you go up here to the question mark and go calibration, it will ask you to insert a calibration sheet and click start. Want to take care of this sheet. It's I assume any semi-gloss white paper would probably work, but it has an arrow to show you which way you use it. You just drop it and let it rest. There's 2 guides so you can see where to place it in the center. Click start. And it will do its calibration thing, and I assume it's just trying to discover, you know, what is pure white. So not a bad thought. Most scanners don't need that. Put that away and take care of it. So now we're ready to scan. You can set over here, you can choose, this is kind of weird, it's kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere. You can choose the file type you want to save. I don't know if that has any effect until you actually save the files, because what I'm going to do is I scan these, they're going to show up, but they're not actually going to be saved yet. So I've got quite a few pictures here we're going to scan. It says to place them face down and upside down. And if you do that with all of them, then you don't have to do any correction later. It's maybe a little slower, but all we do is we just start dropping pictures in. One thing I found is you want to make sure you kind of drop it and you don't set it and hang on to a little bit. One problem that I've got is that there's no way for these to stack up neatly at the bottom. It might be easier to just go ahead and scan them all the same direction so that you can stack them up later and then just the rotation. It says to place them in the center. I don't think it's real critical how close it is. It's finding the image as you scan. As I said, if you want, you'll notice now one of my problems is, this isn't super fast, but it's not bad. But you'll notice there's no nice, easy way to stack them up and organize them. Another advantage the FastFoto scanner has is the printing on the back, it will scan front and back, and it will only scan the back if it detects something. Actually pretty nice for old snapshots. My wife frequently will write something on the back, like I don't know who this person is, but she's written on the back who they are. Those are the scans that I originally scanned with the FastFoto scanner, did most of my comparisons, same image. So we'll be able to compare those to what the FastFoto does. I also scan these. I'm gonna go ahead and scan these because I scanned these in my last one, and there's a couple of these that are gonna be good comparisons. I'm gonna keep putting them in horizontal. Now that didn't look right. That looked weird. That went through really fast, and it didn't work. Yeah, so for some reason, that didn't scan, it just spit it out. What you might be able to do is put like something right here that they can fall against, and that actually might do a pretty good job of letting them stack up neatly. I think it probably would. You just have to put a little something right there, because then they would just stack up. If you're gonna turn them all the same way and then fix the rotation later, which is with FastFoto, it does try to figure out the rotation, but it's not super great at it, so you're still gonna have to fix some. And then last of all, I thought, you know, for the heck of it, I haven't done with the FastFoto scanner, but I stumbled across this old black and white of my wife, which was probably 3 or 4 months after we were married. And I thought, well, let's just see how it handles that. And there we go. All right, let's go over to the software and take a look at our results. I'm gonna go ahead and make this full screen so we can see them. And then you can control the size of these thumbnails down at the bottom. The other thing it has is a cabinet. If you go over here, this is a place you can drop files from off your computer rather than scan them in. So if we look at these, if you'll notice, this is probably pretty close to my original. Original probably has a little bit better color. I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not. I'll see if the color looks anywhere decent at all when I work on the video. But it doesn't look nearly as good as the one from the FastFoto. Let me just tab over to the Finder, and we'll pull these up from the FastFoto. Okay, so here's the original scan from FastFoto, and you'll notice personally this scanner is a little yellow. This is the original scan. Here's FastFoto scan with color restoration, and we're going to use that as a comparison in just a minute, because the problem with this scanner is I can't automate color restoration. So what I have to do is go into photo restoration, and I can try auto color to see what I get. And as you can see, that's not even close to how good the FastFoto does. So auto color doesn't work. Interestingly enough, I can't use Command or Control Z to go backwards. I have to click the little back arrow, or this one resets to the beginning. So what I can also do is go under this menu over here, which has faded restoration, and I can try different settings. This looks like severe yellow. You'll notice the problem is that they all have a little too much contrast, and my face is blowing out. So my problem is I can't get anything nearly as good as this. And from FastFoto, I get this without any effort at all. Let's just take a look at a couple others. Here's the FastFoto version of this one. And this one is with restoration. And this is a little contrasty, but I don't think I can get this to look as good. I can go optimization. That didn't look very good. That didn't really do anything. I can go photo restoration, autocorrect, and that doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty similar to this one, maybe even a little bit better. But my problem is I don't have time to go through every photograph and do restoration on it. So here I've got to go to the next photograph. I can go auto color. Now it's too much contrast, and auto contrast makes it worse. Even though it's already too contrasty, I can try auto correction. That doesn't help. Go to here, I can try this. So the real problem is I can't automate this process. So with the FastFoto scanner, this is all automatic, and I can give you a kind of quick way to show you how it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Here's my FastFoto scans, and this is the original versus restored, original, restored, original, restored, original, restored, original, restored. And all of these restorations, I didn't do anything. It did it while it scanned it. It saves me the original and the restored version if I want, but I don't even do that anymore because the restored versions are 99.9% of the time, they're better than the original. Restored, if we try to find that one here, let's find Santa Claus here. You know, it's just, and I don't think I can get this to look anywhere like that. Faded restoration, I can try yellow, that's better, but it always puts too much contrast in. Bottom line is, it's a neat little scanner, but if you bought an Epson scanner, a flatbed, low budget one, and used its built-in coloration, even laying out 5 at a time, letting them scan, which takes around 10 seconds a piece, you're gonna get better results, and I don't think it'll take you any less time. I really don't. I would spend hours trying to make these look good, and I don't think most of them would look good. Anyway, bottom line is I cannot recommend this scanner at all. I think it's personally a complete waste of money. I think if they really put some effort into their software, the convenience of it's really nice. And even though it's not as automatic, I think you could kind of work around that and make it feed pretty quick. But you won't find an Amazon link in the description below because I don't want anybody to buy one and they get mad at me. If you can't afford the FastFoto scanner, a budget Epson scanner, and I haven't tested the other brands, but Epson software by nature has been working with color restoration for well over a decade. And the algorithms are really good in figuring out what a color should be based on what it's faded to. It's not perfect. The flatbed scanner doesn't do quite as good a job, I think, as the FastFoto scanner. That's, I guess I keep pointing over here. I've got it behind me on a shelf. But I think that taking more time and using the Epson flatbed scanner, I think you would probably be happier with your results. And the other option, of course, is to find somebody that can scan them for you. For example, in my store, Pixels Photo and Frame, we have a FastFoto scanner so we can scan large amounts of 3.5 by 5s fairly quickly and much more affordably than we used to when we had to scan them on a flatbed scanner because the labor cost is so much better. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, just ask below and see if I can find an answer for you. I'll probably keep following up on this. I don't know. I'm curious as to how old this scanner and this software is. It looks like it was made 10 years ago. And unfortunately, they didn't, the software side of it's probably more important than the scan engine. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe below because I've got some other videos on this Preserving Memory series coming up. Until next time, see ya.